about 72 hours we've been here. You know, it's going to take us a while to get a consensus out of 150 people, and probably 72 hours is not enough.
I would just like to add, though, one thing before we go to your question, Mike. I think the big part that the senator pointed out, I think that's something, you know, I know you guys are interested in where we disagree, but the bottom line is he has the same focus we do, which is the focus is on education, teacher quality, early childhood, higher education, focusing on expansion and access to health care. And quite frankly, that's what we're talking about. So we're going to have some disagreements about how we get there, but I think generally we're in more agreement with them than we are in disagreement.
And you're going to start taking a look at the budget next week, but realistically, how long before we can start making some real decisions about how much more you're going to put in, that sort of stuff?
I don't think we have an answer to that today as to how long. I mean, obviously, we're going to have our subcommittees begin work on reviewing the recommendations, and then they will come to us with a set of things that they think we need to do, and we'll try and figure out how much of that we can afford and what we're going to put together. The governor had, you know, the governor started in August with departments coming to him and set of recommendations they were making on their budget. He started in August and gave us his address on Monday. We started on Monday. Give us a little time to work through that process and figure out our timeline. So,
and well, I don't know of a governor yet that hasn't left things out of their budget or underfunded things that he knew was popular with Iowans. And
can you repeat yourself?
I'm sorry. You know, I've been here 28 years and quite a few governors. And every governor, in their recommendation, they've left popular things out of their budgets in order for them to balance their own ideas. And we've always come to agreement in a civil way, and we will this time.
We'll have a little bit better idea next week in the House. We're going to probably have an evening meeting where we start going through the budget. Everybody's went and looked for their pet project that they like. Now they're looking at other things, and by this time next week they'll have had a chance to absorb a better idea where the whole budget is. But we had people today that said, I'd like to go through the budget. So I think we'll probably do that sometime next week, and we'll probably have a better idea on the chronology. But that, you know, I think you're talking a significant amount of time for the session.
Is there a better chance that you all will agree with the governor on Bottle Bill, or have a different idea, do you think?
Sorry. Well, we've been answering that question a lot over the last 48 hours.
Now it's 72.
Well, yeah, but hey, you got to take the first day off. He didn't address it on the first day. I'll just say this. Our person that worked on this issue last year was Donovan Olson, and Donovan was looking at one piece of it, which was raising it a penny so that you could give the handlers some extra money. This bill has several components to it. It doubles it from a nickel to a dime. It increases the handling fee. You put money into REAP and into environmental programs. And then there's the whole issue of scooping some money that is unclaimed, which is about anywhere from 7 to 15%. So I mean, you're talking about a whole gambit of issues versus just raising it a penny. So it's going to take some time to look through it. But I said this on Tuesday, and I'll say it again. It's a difficult sell, and it's an uphill fight. But we'll take a look at it. And there's people in our caucus that are interested in portions of it. But we haven't looked at all the portions that are in there. The governor did it much more comprehensive than the things legislators have proposed in the past.
What kind of feedback have you gotten from your caucuses and public on that proposal?
It's mixed, both public and within the caucus. There's people that like parts of it and not parts of it. And it's the same way with the few people that have spoken to me about it in public. It's pretty much the same thing. It's pretty mixed. Some people like it, some people hate it. Needless to say, you can figure out who hates it.
I think each of you have said that you favor waiting for the Supreme Court to rule on the gay marriage issue before any debate would be taken up. Mm-hmm. If the Supreme Court does not overturn the lower court, would you all be willing to debate that issue?
Listen, let's just wait and see what the courts do. We shouldn't really be weighing in on this, and I think I said this earlier this week. We shouldn't be acting like a judge or a jury. That's the Iowa Supreme Court's decision. And we shouldn't be weighing in on it, trying to put undue pressure on anybody at this point. I think you just need to let the process take its course. let the justices decide, and we'll address the issue when that time comes. But if they strike down the lower court decision, there's no reason for us to do anything.
Do you have support, if the court does not overturn it, do you have support within your caucuses that they would?
We haven't discussed that. I have no idea.
Kevin, when you opened up this week, you listed 8 Republicans who were leaving, and you listed 2 Democrats who were running for the Senate. Do you have other Democrats who you know right now are not running again?
No.
Oh, I've been meaning to talk to you.
There are indications there will be anywhere from 5 to 10 more Republicans announcing their retirement this session. I'm not going to talk about I'm not going to name them, but there's indications both in terms of the lack of what they did for their campaigns this last year, the lack of money they raised, and rumors from their district that lead us to believe there'll be 5 to 10 more Republican retirements. There are 8 that have announced right now. We think we'll be somewhere around 50 incumbents running for re-election. We think the Republicans will be somewhere between 30 to 35.
And the basis for the question is the rhetoric opening up was pretty sharp. And it sounds like a lot of people are positioning themselves for the election next November, looking beyond this session. Is that a fair assessment?
I think you need to look no further than Christopher Rance's New Year's resolution, which is posted on his website. Number 10 was something about making college more affordable. But number 1, the most important, was winning back the majority at all costs. So I would agree with that.
And I'll go one step further, which Kevin didn't cover. We had our incumbents put their nomination petitions in the caucus kits. 51 of our 53 members put them in the caucus kits and have the signatures they need for re-election. And the 2 that didn't had them in the caucus kits for the Senate. So right now it appears there's always that possibility that, whether it's health, personal problems, or somebody gets fed up with the 2 of us, that they don't, which occurs on a daily basis. But I mean, there's always the possibility that 1 or 2 people may change their minds, but we feel like right now we're going to have 51 people running for re-election in November.
I think they'll just maintain the majority then pretty easily here.
Well, our goal is, here's what we're going to do. We hope we're going to maintain our majority by, 1, having lots of incumbents running for re-election, but number 2, I think we're going to go out and talk about the things we did last year, the things we're going to do this year. And it's all focused on the things we've been talking about, and it includes commercial industrial property taxes, which we didn't do last year. We expect to take a step in that direction this year.
Let me say, the Republican leaders have a job to do. They do. And as the minority leaders, they have a case to make to Iowans, and they're going to go through that exercise, and that's appropriate. You did that when we were in the minority. We tried to craft some differences and give Iowans a choice. But when it's all said and done, this session isn't about next fall's election. This session is about working together. There are a host of Republicans we have worked with over the years. We worked with them when we were tied. We worked with Christopher Rance when he brought silo to the legislature at the behest of the school system in Sioux City as a way to deal with the crumbling schools in this state. We didn't go, oh, that's a Republican idea and we're the minority and we're not going to play. We sat down and worked with them. There are a whole host of Republicans on both the Senate side and the House side who work with us and trying to make Iowa a better place. So I understand the leaders have some job to do up there that's about kind of the message into the general public, but there's a whole bunch of Republicans that are happy to sit down and work with us and find solutions.
And you're still at 1 retirement, right?
Pardon me?
You're still at 1 retirement?
Yes, yes.
And no indication of anybody else?
There's 0 indication of anybody else. And Pat was talking about it, 51 people running for re-election. Look, if somebody found their way here the first time, there's a fairly good chance they're going to find their way here a second time. So yeah, I think we're excited about our opportunities in terms of the majority, but we're not going to rest on our laurels. We're going to do good cleans this year, and then we're going to work on laying out an agenda for the year after, and hope Iowans buy our agenda over whatever the Republican agenda comes to be. We're recruiting good candidates. We've succeeded politically because we've gone out to communities and found good leaders in those communities and asked them to come to Des Moines and work in the legislature to make their communities better places. We have gotten just some great people in the last couple of cycles to run for office. So we're excited about that opportunity, but we're not taking anything for granted. The incumbents are beatable. Well, if incumbents were beatable, we wouldn't be in the majority. We beat a few Republicans.
Senator, could you talk about your feelings about